guys, it is Tanya and welcome back to the channel. Today I am back with another speed build and we are building a tiny home today. This is actually a suggestion that I've had on my to-do list for quite some time now. So we are building a tiny house for a witch, or a witchy tiny house, which I thought was really fun. I kind of went with a more whimsical, like herbalist type of witch feel for this home. And I had a lot of fun with this one. I've actually done a witch home before, but it was a collab I did with Sim Kim where she built a house which was a similar style, and then I furnished it, and that was so much fun. So I thought it would be nice to do something in a very similar style to that, but like a tiny house. So that's what we're doing today. It ends up having a green roof, which I was really excited about because I don't ever use green roofs, and I'm actually doing another build right now that has a green roof, and I'm really excited to share that. I don't know when that's coming out. It's nowhere near done. I tend to start a lot of builds and then like not finish them for weeks and weeks on end. And when they get finished, I'm like, oh, I'm so excited. But other ones I sit down and build in one sitting, like I did with this one, which was really fun. I actually built this last night and I'm recording this voiceover day of upload. So happy Monday, everybody. I hope you guys are having a good day. I know it's most people's start to the week, so hopefully it isn't too stressful and you're having a good day. But anyway, the shape of this house is coming together now. It's a really weird one. It's supposed to be kind of a strange shape, and I quite enjoyed that. And this home is fit for one sim, and they can either have a cat or a dog. I did include a litter box, but other than that, it's the same stuff you would have for a dog, so it could be either. But other than that, just one sim that could be a human, a vampire, whatever you'd like. Hopefully eventually witches come to the game. I know there were some polls last year, I believe, where they were asking what our preferred occult was, and they kind of had like this showdown between all the different occults, and at the end of it, the ultimate winner was witches. So I think if and when we get another occult, witches might be the next one, and I just think it would be really cool to have them in game because it's a really fun thing to have. Here I am cutting out something in the wall because I realized the floor plan didn't make sense with where the stairs were, and I was like, ooh, what if I go on the gallery and I grab a cow plant or two and put them in here? Would that be interesting? And I tried sizing them down. I tried all kinds of stuff, and I just left them there for a while as a decorative piece, but I really wanted them to be functional, so I came back later and fixed that. There ends up only being one of them, and there's like quite a large deck in that area that you have to walk over to continue the pathway that I create to go behind the house. But there's a functional cow plant on this lot, which I thought was kind of fun. There also ends up being like a pumpkin patch and just some gardening areas in general. I just think it's a really nice outdoorsy home, and it comes in at about 50,000 simoleons. If you guys are interested in grabbing this off the gallery, you can find it by searching Griffy or the hashtag MissGriffy. That information is also down below, as well as a link to download it from the gallery website if that's an easier way for you guys to access this build. We're also working on landscaping right now, which I used plants from a variety of areas. Like I have these big beautiful plants that are from Salvadorada, which don't really make sense in this context, but I imagine that the sim that lives here, is growing all kinds of stuff that she's planted that is used for whatever spells or whatever she's cooked up. I also have a flower arranging table here. I thought just plants were a big focus here. Gardening, making like flower arrangements, herbalism, like everything is what I really wanted to focus on here, so I thought it would be really cool to have just all kinds of plants. And we're just trying to find some kind of decoration for the front roof here. I believe we grab the little sun guy here. I think we get rid of him in the end though, but I kind of liked the idea of there being this centerpiece of that sun. I thought it was kind of cute, but you change your mind sometimes, so I thought I would just leave parts of this in. I did cut out some footage that took way too long for me to find something, but for the most part I kept it in, and so you guys will be able to see everything. But now we are in the fall. I decided this house would look a lot better in autumn, so I switched the season to autumn, and I just think it really pops here. It's so cute. I love the fall in the game. I love fall in real life too, and I don't think I've built a house in the fall since it was fall where I live, so that was a while ago. And I did have some suggestions right after I did that Scandinavian modern tiny house that was in winter to do some fall builds, so I'm glad that I'm finally able to get a build out that is in the fall, and I think it came out so cute. So here we are placing down a bunch of pumpkins. These are just from the Spooky Day Stuff pack. I thought it would look nice to kind of have like a little pumpkin patch around here, and we're sizing down some plants under them to make them look like they're actually growing here. I thought it was pretty cute. And yeah, so that's kind of what that is. I just thought it would fill up the space nicely and be something very fall themed. Oh my gosh, I love picking pumpkins and carving pumpkins. It's like probably one of my favorite things to do in October. Oh goodness. Speaking of which, I think I mentioned this in my vampire tiny house. In October, I get really, really into Halloween, and I have spooky and like mystical and creepy and scary builds all of the days. Like, not all of the days, but most of the days. I'm really, really into that. And so I just wanted to let you guys know because it's so much fun. But here we are working on this cow plant area. I don't think I extended it out at this point. I was just messing with it. I thought it was kind of a cute little nook to have these cow plants in, and it allowed me to figure out the floor plan better because I wouldn't be wasting all of that space over there. But I think I figured it out in the end, and we just have one giant cow plant with his own little section on the side of the house. So that's kind of cool because I don't think I ever build with the intention of having a cow plant because I don't know. I don't use cow plants that often. They are kind of fun, but I feel like it makes sense for a more like build like this if you're having like a witch, or I guess a vampire could too, but it seems like off. I guess a witch because I was associating it with plants, and cow plants are plants. I don't know. I'm just rambling at this point. I'm just trying to explain why I wanted a cow plant, but I thought it was fun and a good way to use up that space. But we're adding some ivy to the side of this build. I do end up changing the colors of some of it later to have the red color. I think I changed all of it to red, and then I changed my mind and I have it all green again, but I have little bits of red in it, which I think looked kind of nice and was a little bit different than what I normally do, bringing in the autumn colors really, which I quite enjoyed. And then I'm just placing a bunch of items down in here. I'm checking out all the stuff from Spooky Stuff to see if anything's gonna work other than the cauldron, and I think the only item from the pack I actually end up using is the cauldron, so that's fun. But I'm trying absolutely everything. I'm like, there's gotta be something cool I could use. And then I used this rug from Get Famous, which I think is a really, really pretty rug. And I'm trying to think what other rugs I used. I think I used a decent amount of Laundry Day stuff in this build, base game, obviously one Spooky Day stuff item, and I don't know what else I used a lot of in this build. I do have a build, I think, coming out later this week, though, that is a limited pack build, and I think it's a tiny house it was a tiny house that I built, and so that's kind of cool. This week, there's a couple of tiny houses, and I'm hoping to have like another part of my Let's Build floor plan one a couple of weeks ago now, so I think it's time to get a roofing tutorial out. But here we are rearranging the kitchen because I had set it all up, and then I realized I forgot to put a door to the bathroom, so I was like, oh, yeah, I need to fix that. So we ended up changing the back door and moving these islands back a little bit so that you can walk through the kitchen and get to the back porch. Also, the bathroom in this house only has a toilet and a shower. There's no sink in there. I do that occasionally in tiny houses when we're really running out of space. I figure you have the sink in the kitchen. I know some people might think that's not sanitary, but that's pretty realistic in some tiny houses. And this house was a house that did not have space to have a sink in the bathroom. So I went ahead and did that. And then we are just figuring out this little walkway by the stairs. I added those little herbs from Laundry Day hanging above one of the above the, what's it called? The sink. Oh man, my words are not working. And I just think it looked pretty cute. And then up here, I'm just trying to figure out where we're going to place a bed because it is a very awkward space. And we end up placing it here. And then the little nook that you cannot access, we just put a plant over there. I thought that would be kind of nice. And if it were real life, you'd be able to access it because you can just like climb through the bed. But I thought it was a good way to fill up the space. And I just wanted it to be a livable place to sleep. I didn't need it to be an exciting like activity filled area upstairs. So we're just figuring out some lamps throughout. I did add some additional of those saucer lights because I used mostly those mason glass jar lights that we got from Parenthood. I thought they really fit with the look I was going for in this build, but I thought having some of the saucer lights would just brighten it up a little bit. So those are up on the ceiling as well. We're just adding a plant over here on this island counter, as well as adding those chairs, which are from Jungle Adventure. I thought they were so pretty, and I really liked how they looked in this build. And this base game sofa, I decided that those curtains were not going to work, but I really enjoyed using this sofa. I feel like I don't use a lot of the base game stuff very often. Or is that base game? Or is that Get Together? I'm not sure. I never use this couch. But I liked that, and we went ahead and put some books on the couch. And then we are creating like a shelf unit here because I thought the only way I was going to have a TV that made sense if you wanted to have a TV in this house was if I had a shelving unit here where you could access it from both the living room and the kitchen. So there's a TV and some decorations, and that's where the trash cans and stuff go. But there's also some books and like spices up on the top level as well that you can grab from the kitchen. So I thought that was a good way to divvy up the space and still make it functional. So hopefully you guys do like that. There's no proper dining space inside the house, I don't think. But you can always just sit on the couch and eat. And I believe there's a table and chairs upstairs, but I don't think it's functional. It was just kind of a cute thing I added. You'll see it afterwards. But this is the bathroom. I did play test this. You're able to get in here. You're able to get upstairs. You're able to get into the bed. Like, everything works just fine. I know it looks really tight, but I play tested it, I promise. So that was a kitty litter box I just added on the back porch if you decide to have a cat in this house. And we're about to size down this like little spell book thing that came with vampires. I thought it was a really cute item that I wanted to add in here. So that's what's over here. I think it just like adds a little bit of something to the build. So there's lots of books and stuff around. I also thought about sizing down one of these wardrobes or like cupboards from vampires to put here, but I didn't end up using it in the end. I ended up sizing down a base game dresser. There wasn't enough space upstairs for a dresser, and I thought it would be nice to have one down here. It is a tiny house, so you have to put stuff where you can fit it, so I thought that would be a nice space to go ahead and fit a place for your Sims to change and all that. Of course, they could use mirrors as well. I know in some builds I don't include a dresser or a closet, and I'll get comments asking about it, and I'm like, yeah, I guess it doesn't seem too realistic, but I do have a mirror so your Sims can change their outfits and plan outfits and all of that, because it's all you really need in game to be able to change all of that if you're not using cheats. If you're using cheats, you don't need any of it, but a mirror is all you need. But sometimes it's nice to make sure I have the stuff that makes it more realistic, I suppose. And that red shelf I'm using is a CC item that I use in a lot of my builds. If you are new here and are unaware, I don't leave it in the build. So there's no custom content in this build, but I do use that piece of custom content to place items at a more precise level. So that's what that is. If you're seeing that, it's super helpful, and I have a download link down below if you're interested in grabbing it for yourself. But here we are doing some play testing and moving over this weird porch. You can kind of see you have to walk over the porch to get to the other side of the pathway because the cow plants were not functioning, and I just really wanted a functioning cow plant. So we got that working in the end. I think it looks pretty cute. And then we're just going to be adding some decorations up here in the bedroom loft space. It's not really a loft. I don't know, the bedroom space. It's like right at the top of the stairs. I quite like it. I tried adding this plant, but it was too tall. I really wanted to use as a bedside table one of the longer mason jar lamps. I think those are such cool lights in the game, and I don't use them that often, so it was kind of nice to do that. But up here, I end up adding some plants, a little bird bath, a place to plant some stuff, and then this is a buffet table from Luxury Party Stuff, but I thought it looked like kind of a fancy table that you could like read the future or something on, which I know is different than what witches are, but I thought it was kind of a fun thing to add. But anyway, we are coming to the end of the video. I hope you guys did enjoy this build. If you did, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. You can also subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and if you click that little bell, it'll turn on notifications so you'll be notified of every single time I upload a new video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Screenshots are coming up now, and I will see you all very, very soon. Bye, everybody.